In life, we often find ourselves caught in struggles that seem beyond our control. Cycles of negative thinking, toxic relationships, and a general sense of discontent. Some call these struggles chains of the devil's deception, a concept that represents the lies and false beliefs that cloud our perception and hold us back from true freedom. These chains work subtly but powerfully, influencing our thoughts, behaviors, and emotions, leading us down paths that don't serve our highest good. Today, we'll take a closer look at how deception operates, how to recognize its presence, and, most importantly, how to break free from its grip. To understand how to break the chains of deception, we must first understand the nature of deception itself. Deception isn't always obvious. It often disguises itself as familiar thoughts, desires, or emotions. The goal of deception is to alter our perception in ways that lead us away from our true purpose and potential. It can make us question our worth, fill us with doubt, and encourage us to chase things that offer temporary relief but not lasting fulfillment. By altering our perception, deception keeps us from seeing things as they truly are. It convinces us that we're powerless, unworthy, or in need of things that don't actually serve us. When we internalize these lies, they become mental and emotional chains that shape how we experience life. One way deceptive forces operate is by exploiting our weaknesses. This often begins in the mind, where doubts about our abilities or values start to grow. If we already struggle with self-esteem, for example, deception will take advantage of that by reinforcing thoughts like, "I'm not good enough" or "I'll never succeed." Deceptive forces may also play on our desires. It's natural to want comfort, happiness, and connection, but deception can distort these desires, leading us to seek satisfaction in things that offer only temporary pleasure or gratification. It might tell us that our happiness depends on material possessions, approval from others, or other fleeting things. Over time, this distortion of our desires creates chains that bind us to cycles of craving, dissatisfaction, and dependency. Deception also works by creating doubt and sowing seeds of confusion. This can happen in subtle ways. We might start to question our worth or feel uncertain about our purpose. Small doubts, left unchecked, can grow into overwhelming insecurities that undermine our confidence and make us vulnerable to further deception. These doubts create a fog, making it harder to see what is true and what is false. When we're unsure of ourselves, we're more likely to make choices that don't align with our values or lead us toward a fulfilling life. Isolation is another tool of deception. By making us feel disconnected from others, it amplifies feelings of loneliness and discouragement. When we feel alone or misunderstood, we're more likely to spiral into negative thinking patterns and become more susceptible to deception. Recognizing these chains in our own lives is a crucial step toward breaking free. But how do we identify them? One of the most common signs of deception is persistent negative self-talk. Thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," "I don't deserve happiness," or "I can't do this" often reflect deceptive beliefs rather than the truth of who we are. When we start to notice these patterns of thinking, it's a signal that deceptive forces may be at work, keeping us bound to a limited view of ourselves. Feelings of hopelessness or powerlessness are also indicators. Deception thrives on convincing us that our situations are unchangeable or that we're incapable of making a difference. When we feel as if our challenges are insurmountable, we lose the motivation to take action. This state of hopelessness is often a sign that deception has taken root. Another sign of deception is the presence of unhealthy attachments. These might be attachments to people, possessions, or behaviors that ultimately drain us rather than uplift us. For example, we might seek validation through social media, turn to relationships that don't nurture us, or use substances to numb difficult emotions. These attachments can feel comforting at the moment, but over time, they create dependencies that make it harder to break free. Finally, deception often leads us to pursue temporary fixes for deeper issues. If we find ourselves constantly looking for quick solutions to long-standing struggles, whether it's through shopping, superficial relationships, or other short-term distractions. It's a sign that we might be avoiding a deeper truth. Deception convinces us that these quick fixes are enough, but they rarely bring lasting peace or fulfillment. Now that we can recognize these chains, how do we break free? The journey to freedom begins with self-compassion. Deceptive forces thrive on our own harsh judgment, so when we practice kindness toward ourselves, we weaken their influence. Self-compassion reminds us that we are inherently worthy, despite any mistakes or struggles we may face. It helps us create an inner environment where truth can take root. Daily reflection is another powerful tool in breaking free from deception. By spending time each day considering our actions, thoughts, and motivations, we can begin to see where deceptive patterns might be influencing us. This might involve journaling, meditation, or simply setting aside quiet time to connect with our inner selves. When we reflect, we create space for truth to emerge and for deception to lose its hold. Replacing negative thoughts with affirming truths is also essential. Each time we encounter a deceptive thought, we can counter it with a truth that reflects our intrinsic worth and potential. For example, if a thought tells us, "I'll never be successful," we can replace it with, "I am capable of growth and change." Over time, this practice of replacing lies with truth builds resilience and helps us see ourselves more clearly. Building a strong support system is another key step. When we're surrounded by people who encourage and uplift us, it's easier to stay grounded in truth. A supportive community can offer us perspective, remind us of our strengths, and help us recognize when we're falling into deceptive patterns. This support is invaluable as we work to break free from deception's chains. Sometimes, breaking free also requires seeking professional or spiritual guidance. Speaking with a counselor, therapist, or mentor can provide insights and tools for recognizing and overcoming deception. These individuals can offer an objective perspective and help us see areas where we might be blind to deception's influence. Additionally, reconnecting with our purpose is a powerful way to resist deception. When we're clear on what truly matters to us, we're less likely to be swayed by false beliefs or distractions. Taking time to reflect on what gives our lives meaning can provide a guiding light that keeps us focused on our true path. Once we've broken free, the journey isn't over. Staying free from deception requires ongoing effort and vigilance. Practicing mindfulness is one way to remain aware of our thoughts and emotions, which helps us recognize deceptive influences before they take hold. When we're mindful, we can observe our inner experiences without getting caught up in them, which makes it easier to resist deceptive thoughts. Continuing personal growth is also essential for maintaining our freedom. Engaging in activities that challenge us to grow and expand our minds, like reading, learning new skills, or exploring new perspectives, keeps us open to truth and less susceptible to deception. Growth reminds us that we're capable of change, resilience, and strength. Setting boundaries is another important step. Certain influences, whether they're people, media, or environments, can feed deceptive thoughts. By setting boundaries that protect our mental and emotional well-being, we create a space where truth can flourish. This might mean limiting time spent on social media, avoiding certain relationships, or being mindful of the content we consume. Regular check-ins with ourselves can also help us stay grounded in truth. Taking time weekly or monthly to reflect on our goals, values, and actions can help us assess whether we're living in alignment with our true selves. These check-ins serve as gentle reminders to stay on track and identify any areas where deception might be creeping back in. Having an accountability partner, whether it's a friend, family member, or mentor, can also be invaluable in staying free from deception. An accountability partner can provide perspective, support, and encouragement, helping us stay true to our goals and values. When we know someone else is invested in our growth, it strengthens our commitment to living in truth. Living in the freedom of truth brings a profound sense of peace, joy, and clarity. When we break free from deception, we experience life with a renewed sense of purpose and self-worth. We're no longer weighed down by doubts, dependencies, or the need for constant validation. Instead, we can embrace our inherent worth and live authentically, making choices that align with our values and bring us lasting fulfillment. This freedom empowers us to face life's challenges with confidence, resilience, and hope. We begin to see ourselves as capable, deserving, and whole, unbound by the chains of deception that once held us back. Breaking the chains of the devil's deception is a journey of patience, persistence, and faith. It requires commitment to truth, compassion for ourselves, and a willingness to let go of beliefs that no longer serve us. But each step we take toward freedom brings us closer to a life filled with peace, purpose, and joy. This journey may not be easy, but the rewards are worth every effort. Living in truth allows us to experience life as it's meant to be, free from fear and full of possibility. As we embrace this freedom, we find the strength to become our best selves and the clarity to pursue a life that reflects our highest potential.